hit him with a little Mr. Producer.
All right, here we are. Welcome in, everybody. The Gentleman's Code, episode 30. Today is March 5th, 2025. What's going on, Priamo? Good morning. We had a big night in politics last night. Little premature, I would say, State of the Union address. Usually the State of the Union address is around February of the following year, or January, February of the following year, once the president has been in for so long. I think they're trying to prove a point by, hey, listen, we're doing so much in this first month of the presidency. We're just going to drop a State of the Union on you just so you know what's going on. But yeah, good morning. It's Wednesday. We do these episodes on Wednesday because it's kind of a recap of what's happened from the prior weekend, but what's also up to come for this week. And it's a good spot of the week to catch up with each other, talk about business, talk about other stuff. So good morning.
Good morning, Bobby. Fucking huge. Yeah, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He said it last night. He was on some show on Fox News, and he said, "Yeah, I mean, I just had to invite him in early." Just because so much has happened, so much shit has been getting done, so many victories have been won that we had to bring him in early to go ahead and give the State of the Union, which is not only is that a fantastic idea, Mike Johnson, stud play, what a play, but Trump also made another point by having the longest State of the Union address speech ever in history.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. It was number one. Number two, do you have any idea who was the second longest speech? You want to try to take a guess?
Did he say it? I'm pretty sure. Didn't Trump say it in his speech? Something around. I thought he said something about being second place or being first place, and number two is George Washington or something.
Oh, no, he was saying that Trump's presidential, or his, whatever you want to call it, his presidency was the most consequential, number one. And number two, now he's called George Washington.
He's like, I don't know about that, but
yeah, but I'll take it.
but no, I don't know who it is.
It was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was the second longest. So, but I mean, what a point to prove. You come in, you say, all right, typically this would happen after the first year. I'm doing this after the first 45 days of the presidency. I'm coming and I'm letting you know what the fuck we got done. Dubs, wins, 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 wins. He kept talking about all we're going to do is win. You're going to get tired of winning. We're going to win so much. You're going to get sick of winning. So he came in and he did. Yeah, what a fucking banger speech. Objectively, fantastic speech. His other speeches, I watched some clips and I was watching some of his previous addresses just to get a feel for how this one compared to the other ones. His first term, he was not speaking like this. He was not. He was not giving speeches like this. He's on a different level right now.
He is. He really is on a different level than he was the last presidency, and I think everyone could see it. I mean, everybody could talk about what he did that last presidency, but I actually saw something this week was that his team was in Mar-a-Lago those 4 years that Biden was president, and they were planning out the presidency to the exact hour of every single day of what he was going to do when he got back in office. So they had a game plan for when he got back into the office on January. What was it, January 13th?
January 20th.
20th, January 20th. And once he got back in, it was boots on the ground running. So like you said, in 45 days, they were able to get so much done. And especially with the Department of Government Efficiency, he could brag about that. He spent a good at least 10 to 15 minutes just talking about that alone. And the Democrats had nothing to say about that because if you if you object to the Doge stuff, you just look guilty. So you can't object to any of that stuff, all the good stuff. The little boy, the 13-year-old boy with brain cancer who got introduced as a member of the Secret Service, like stuff like that was so cool. The Lake and Riley Act, the firefighter who got shot and killed at the Butler rally when Trump got shot
Yep.
at, his family was there honoring them, and there was just so many different things going on that I could see why it came out to be the longest speech in history.
Yeah, he just kept giving win after win after win, and that planning that they did those 4 years is clear. I mean, a professional. Talk about a professional, but this is what a competitor is. Somebody who comes in and says, "Fuck, I gotta compete." I know that my first term wasn't as fantastic as it could have been. He wasn't prepared for it. He won, not really expecting that he would win the election. This time he comes in. Now you look back and you say, you know what? Even though you could argue he should have won in 2020. It almost worked out better that way because then he had the 4 years to plan, and then they came in swinging this time. They're on a different level.
Yeah, and with that gap 4 years, he was still able to keep the political ideology afloat. So he was able to still float his ideas out there on truth and, kind of game plan, like you said, but he was able to keep, the battlefield going back and forth. Okay, you lost that battle, but you're going to come back and you're going to win the war in the end. And that's ultimately what happened with that 4 year gap. And even with that, things would have probably been handled differently from a COVID perspective, not shutting down the country or the economy going into a spiral like it did. Yeah, that probably wouldn't have happened. But at the end of the day, COVID was such a wreck and it was such a mess. He wouldn't have been able to get this kind of stuff done. And, he did get this stuff done because he had 4 years to plan, like we said.
Yeah, he was off the charts. So let me think. One other point I wanted to make before because I figured. I mean, I didn't mention it before we jumped on, but I figured, yeah, we throw it on, watch it, do some commentary because I mean that shit was on fire last night, so I'll watch it again. The one other point I'm gonna make too is, again, objectively, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, what's the significance of this speech? What's this gonna do for the country moving forward? What does this say about the relationship that we can have between the two parties? And you see, this is a big story today, and you're going to see him get destroyed this week. The Democrats, with the complete and utter disrespect of the office, right? Just because it's Trump, but a lack of respect for the president in that seat of office. Because you look at Biden's State of the Union addresses, Republicans are standing up. They show respect when he enters in. They show their respect, even though they disagree with him, even though they hate their policies, even though they know their policies are destroying the country. They still showed respect, right? Trump comes in. The Democrats won't do the same thing for him as the Republicans did for Biden and Obama and these other presidents. So, and again, it's not because, oh, Democrats, let's talk shit on them. I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care about the party. It's literally just what's the correct policies, what are the correct things to do for the country. I don't. If the Democrats all of a sudden adopted all the Republican policies and they switched vice versa, I'd be a Democrat now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But objectively, what a disrespect. I think about it. What would I do in that situation? Would I stand up? Would I show respect to the president? I would. Even if I'm not going to be a sore loser. These are things that you learn as a child. Oh, don't be a sore loser. Even if you lose the game, you shake the other team's hand. You shake the other
Yeah.
team's hand. It's sportsmanship. It's respect. It's not being a sore loser. Talk about the absolute antithesis of what being a good sportsmanship is, being constructive is. I mean, just the antithesis of it. It's just sore losers. Come on,
Yeah,
show some respect.
and it goes to show of who the real dividers are. It's when Biden was president, like you said, they still showed up, they still went to the meetings. They probably didn't clap for every single accomplishment that he did, but you show your respect to the president and show that you're still going to work for the country. They're not showing that they're going to work with the president to work to make the country better. It's just, oh, we're going to pout, we're going to fight and not show respect to the president because we don't really care. And it's just a disrespect to the country because you're in there to work with the president and to get laws passed and to get bills signed in order to make the country better and for better ways. And I don't think, from what I've seen from them, they're not there to do that. They're there to be activists. They're there to speak out about issues that don't really matter to 99% of people. 1% of people will follow along with most of their policies and ideologies that they're spilling out. So they're there to be activists and there to, which we know now, line their pockets for the most part. So, but yeah, I'm down to watch the speech. I know it is long. It is almost 2 hours long.
Yeah.
We could probably skip a few parts because there's some parts where they're clapping for like 10 minutes straight.
Right. Yeah, yeah. You guys will get it. They're doing a whole bunch of winning. So, all right, let me pull up because I already got it pulled up. So, I'm gonna do.
If you watch it on YouTube, you might be able to get some time-stamped videos. So video with some timestamps talking about each section.
True, but I don't know what I should. Whatever. I already got it pulled up. Let me see. All right, you can see it right on the screen. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if they do this and do a little Mr. Producer and Boom, boom. Go back to Zoom ski. Oops. The bomba clot. There we go.
A little boom baclot.
All right, here we go. Booming. All right, put the gentleman up in the top right corner. Let's watch this shit. Look at him. Pumping.
I love the suit tie combo.
Oh yeah, Cooker.
It's a clean look with the red and blue dots. I'm getting no sound, by the way.
Good call. Good now?
There we go. Yep.
Pompaine.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
Text them. 202-933-9934. Text them.
Yeah. You know he's awake right now. He'll respond. That's to Pompino's direct line. That's to his personal cell.
Is Tang.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
That's what happens when you got the majority. You could be a lot louder.
Yep. You can let them know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This shit gets rowdy early.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. Thank you. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
This is where that bomba clot. There he is. Bum.
Well, I wonder what he was even saying. I didn't even see a clip of what he was saying.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525. On
Get
a
him
map
outta here.
that reads almost
Get him outta here.
completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
That lady. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. They're not doing this for Biden last term.
No. They did call him a liar,
Mr. Green,
but
take your seat. Take your
Yeah.
seat, sir.
It's
Take your seat.
there's no mandate. Look at this. Absolute.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Get him out of here. Vancino, he said, yup.
look at this guy. Take your cane, hobble on out.
Yeah, get out of here, Harry.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that?
That's what I
don't
thought
know
you were
about that
saying this
list,
morning.
Right.
But we'll take it.
Something like
Within
that.
hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month. And virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
They're stupid little signs to think are going to do anything.
Yeah. Coco. Oh, save Medicaid. Musk steals. That's classic. Musk steals. Yeah, let me steal.
So
let me steal $1,000 to add to my $400 billion net worth.
Yeah.
What are you?
Steal your grandma's Medicaid, put it in his pocket.
What? I mean, I don't even understand. The Musk steals is that's
It makes no sense.
That's embarrassing. You guys got to be more intelligent than that. You got to come up with a better argument than Musk steals. Unfucking
Democrats sitting before me.
Oops.
For just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
False. I mean, just embarrassing. And now you look back on the rest of the speech and you see the genius behind that pander, that statement to them. No matter what I do, you're not going to stand, you're not going to applaud, nothing. And then he comes out and starts cooking because now you set him up.
Set him up, give out all the accomplishments, bring out the 13-year-old cancer survivor, and then they won't stand, they won't do nothing. Like, wow, you guys are nice people.
Exactly. And again, I was objective about it. I thought about it. I said to myself after watching this, would I have stood up, even if I disagreed with everything that, let's say, for example, Biden was saying and the policies that they're pushing, et cetera, and then they brought in those people and did the same exact thing that Trump did, I would still clap for the guy who got accepted into West Point. I would still clap for the kid. I would still clap for the mothers who lost their daughters. I would. Why? Because that has nothing to do with politics. This is just simply, oh wow, that's a fantastic story. Good for you. Da, da, da. I'm gonna clap. I'm gonna stand up. That's fantastic. What do you gain by protesting against even those things? These are
that's what it is. It's a protest. It's not. They're not there in doing their deed of what they should be as a senator and honoring the country. They're there to be activists and try to act out and make sure that people see their point of view.
Right. And if it's a democracy, what happened to if the people voted for something and it's overwhelmingly clear that this is what they want, then their job is to deliver what the people want, even if it's not what they want. If it's the majority, it's the majority. Whatever the majority wants is what happens. Isn't that a democracy? So, yeah, exactly.
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars. that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
That's a big one. We've talked about that one before.
Absolutely. And
And
we've continued to talk about this on the Gentleman's Code about how there's no innovation and no building that takes place in the United States anymore. Where are the new buildings that we're building? What are the new infrastructure? What are the new deals? Nothing gets built here anymore because you can't get anything fucking through regulation. It takes years to get anything passed and get the, what's it called?
Permits to build, to dig, and you got to make sure you're not digging in a certain soil, make sure that your waste isn't going to affect a fish or an animal, and then you got to have proper regulations on your concrete, make sure your base is good, and proper steel regulations, and you're buying steel from China, so you don't know if the regulations are going to match, the steel you're buying. So it's almost impossible. Like Trump used to build skyscrapers in New York City, and he says it. He's like, in today's day and age, to do what I did is nearly impossible because of all the regulations of how long it takes to build these buildings. You can't do it anymore because it's impossible.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there are good regulations that are going to protect the people and protect the environment. Yes, you 100% should do that, but it shouldn't take you 10, 15 years to get things done that otherwise could have been done. This is not competitive. Mm-hmm. You can't be competitive in the world like this whenever other countries, they can fucking snap their fingers, bang, that shit's getting built next week. Especially
we talk about that speed.
Business is speed, bro. You don't have 15 years to build something, especially in today's day and age where everything is sped up. Things need to happen more quickly. 50, 60 years ago, you could have gotten away with taking 5 years to build a massive building. Nowadays, they'll erect that shit in 2-3 years. With 2 years, a year. It doesn't take that long. You just need urgency. You just need speed to get things done. So yeah, the speed in which things happen is so important. We can't be lagging behind it with every fucking project we try to do.
That first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
Can't even sit down for a second. He's going to hit you with something new. Bang.
Yeah, just stand.
I
Ladies and gentlemen,
renamed
just stand.
the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Come on.
And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Banger. Ooh.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
So before he goes off of that topic, the DEI stuff, implementing those things is what keeps racism around, because you continue to make things about race. If you don't want people to be racist or think in terms of race, you don't make policy based off of race. Bobby and I are both business owners, okay? We have people that work with us inside of the network. We have people that work for us, right, that are paid. I've never once, ever, objectively, as a business owner, thought to myself, I'm going to hire somebody strictly based off of their age, gender, or race. Ever. You know how I hire people? And again, this is not me making a conscious decision to do so. It's simply just what happens. I hire people based off their ability to get the job done. I don't care if you're a male, a woman, how old you are, what you're. Does not matter to me. Naeem, he's from Bangladesh. I didn't hire him because he's from Bangladesh. I hired him because he fucking does a good job. It should not matter. Well, it's not that it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. You wouldn't hire someone. You would not hire someone because of that as well. On the flip side,
right? It just. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't even need to be a thing. It's very simple. Who's the best candidate for this job? Congratulations, you got it. Doesn't matter.
And some of the other stuff, sorry to cut you off, some of the other stuff that goes with that, though, is you see like these groups come up. They have, certain groups where people, and listen, I'm all for people of the same culture, ethnicity, working together, doing different things. But when you build exclusive groups inside of companies, inside of the government, inside of different areas of life, then you're starting to exclude other people based on the color of their skin or if they're male. And that is exactly what we've worked this far to get to, is to not look at people based on their skin and whether you want to build a group with them or you want to work with them. It's the complete opposite. So there shouldn't be a exclusive African American group that meets every Wednesday in this conference room in the office. Okay, well now you're excluding other people that maybe want to get in on that conversation. So it flips the whole idea of what they've worked for through segregation. There was black and white water fountains. Now it's like in classrooms and students. And another quick point on the DEI stuff, he mentioned the Supreme Court upheld the bill, and And that is how the process works. A lot of people, you'll hear the term dictator, fascist, da 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 da. Well, that's not how it works. He's coming up with these bills. Senate's coming up with the bills. They're writing them. They pass them. He signs them. But then if people see it as unconstitutional, unlawful, it discriminates, or it's not right for somebody, the Supreme Court's job in this whole government is to make sure that it is constitutional and it is towards our Bill of Rights, that people have these liberties. And like he said there, that's why he thanked them massively. Thank you for upholding this, because he believes it is right. And obviously they do too. They withheld it or upheld it. So that is the process. He's not a dictator. He's not just writing these things into law and then he's hitting the gavel and making it law. There's processes to this. It goes through the Senate. He signs it. He approves it. And then the Supreme Court takes a look at it. They read the bill and they read it against the laws and make sure it's lawful. And then boom, it goes into law. So the dictator lines and the fascist lines, they don't make sense if you actually know what's going on.
Correct. Yeah, there's still a process. He's not just able to do whatever the hell he wants. There are different checks and balances across the entire government. And you want to know who is a dictator? Zelensky, the one who canceled all elections and is throwing political opponents into jail, media figures into jail. He outlawed the largest Christian church in Ukraine. He made it illegal to practice that religion, a Christian religion. Okay, for those of you who haven't heard, who don't pay attention to what he's doing there, that's a dictator. Trump, they're calling him a dictator, a fascist, whatever. He signed an executive order bringing free speech back to the country. That doesn't sound very dictator-like to me. He's saying as much bad things you guys say about me and do to me, you should still have the right to do so. I'm not going to throw you in jail for saying something bad about me. But in the contrary, the last administration, it has come out, it's proven, it's real. They were doing censorship across all social media platforms. They're putting pressure on these platforms to censor things that they didn't want to be out there. So who do you think has something to hide here? Who do you think here is on the good side and the bad side?
Yeah.
Whoever's trying to... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, with the Zelensky thing, he's using the martial law excuse. So we're at war. It's martial law. The president needs to take control of the country, which, okay, to a certain extent, it is what it is. But obviously, the United States has never canceled elections because of martial law. We've been in war times, World War I, World War II, Civil War. We elected Abraham Lincoln at the beginning of the Civil War, pretty much. That's what pretty much kick-started the Civil War. And World War I, World War II, we were at war. We had presidential elections. Those were 10-year-long wars. We did cancel elections. It's really not an excuse. So we know what's going on there. It's a power grab. He wants to stay in power as long as possible. Keep getting that money from Europe. The money from the U.S. is gone, dried up. So yeah, it's his last ditch effort to hold on to something.
You promote what you permit. Okay, remember that. This is a simple business mentality or rule you got to live by. You promote what you permit. So if you're supporting what's happening in Ukraine and you're permitting that, you're going to promote that for the U.S. and you're going to get into a position where people are going to try to do that in the U.S. We can't get to that point. You have elections. That's a democracy.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team or they will lose all federal funding.
That's Vance's wife, right?
Yeah. Usha.
And if you really want to see numbers, Just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer. What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job. A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
I've never seen Elon look so normal.
Yeah, he's got the suit on because they were clowning him.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that.
Musk
Just
steals.
listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taken back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Cooking. Throwing in some jabs, throwing in some humor.
In there, you could hear some of the Democrats saying, liar, liar. What is their basis to say that's a lie? It doesn't make any sense. Do you have the data? He has the data.
Yeah, it's in the database. That's where they got it.
1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Makes total sense.
Oops.
Because it's like, think about it, you have smart kids that come over from any country, Chinese students, kids from Dubai, the Middle East, they're top of their class over there. They come to here for college, but then you're supposed to leave after college because you're just here on a student visa. Now you could have companies like SpaceX, engineering companies, Apple, little Twitch follower.
Bomba clot. Nice.
Now these companies they're sitting on these piles of billions of dollars in cash. Now if you want to attract top talent, pay for their visa, now they could come work here and work towards their green card. So you're going to be seeing a lot more brilliant Chinese students, Saudi princes coming over just because they have the cash, not even students, just rich Saudi princes coming over, being American citizens. People all over Europe who are top of their class, they're going to get these gold cards because companies are going to see that they graduated top of their class at Harvard, Yale, wherever they go to school, and then they're going to come work here.
Absolutely. I mean, again, it's critical thinking. It's okay, what's the solution to this problem? The other solution that the last administration, it's not a solution. It was just a solution to their voting problem, so they could get more people to vote for them in these swing states. Their idea was, let's bring the worst possible people into our country, people who could potentially be criminals, who've obviously killed multiple young girls, which they're going to talk about here in a little bit in this speech. They brought in the worst people in the world potentially, as opposed to Trump is saying, hold on a second. Just like you said, Bobby, whenever we were in college together at WV, all those Arab kids coming from the Middle East, all rich as fuck, okay?
Yeah.
Which is great. I actually come to the U.S. for school. That's awesome. I mean, you do whatever you want. If you have money, do whatever you want, 100%. But these Arab kids, Middle Eastern kids would come to our university at WV. Nice ass whips, rich as fuck. Their parents have millions and millions of dollars. These are rich people, very rich people. Now you give them the opportunity to pay the 5M, and instead of flying in illegal immigrants and paying for them tax dollars from the American people to live here, how about the rich people who can create industry, create opportunity, keep the talent that we're educating in our universities in the States? How about we have them bring that money in here? That sounds like a much better idea, because now we're spending $0 to house them like illegal immigrants. Mm-hmm. And not only are we paying $0 to house them and feed them and give them fucking visas and cell phones, all this bullshit. Now, even better, they pay us to stay. It's almost like Trump might be a successful businessman who's made a lot of money before. How does he think this way? This is incredible.
And think of it, if someone could pay $5 million to just get a fast pass to the green card, they're going to pay money in other industries. They're going to buy cars in America. They're going to build a house. They're going to build jobs. They might bring their company over here. However they made money over there, I'm sure they're going to want to keep making money here in America. So they're going to bring that over. And it's just like you said, instead of paying people to be here and to pay them to live, now they're going to start paying us, start paying property tax, start paying income tax, and it's all this stuff. So it's more than just $5 million you're getting from one person.
That's what I was just going to say. The illegal immigrants that come here, they're not paying taxes outside of, because you'll hear some of the people will argue, but they buy stuff in the U.S. and they pay sales tax and da-da-da. Guy, they're paying sales tax with the money that you gave them from our taxes. This is not new money that they've generated. You're just recycling our money right back to the government. So you bring new people who build their businesses in our country. You create more American citizens, more tax revenue, more industry, more opportunity. I mean, again, to me, this is fantastic. But like Trump was saying earlier, if you don't agree with him politically on everything, it doesn't matter what he does, can't be a good idea. Can't be good. It's a fantastic idea. Just the Middle Easterns that come here for university, guarantee you get 10,000 that do it. These people have money falling out of their fucking ears with all the oil money that they have. And me and Bobby saw it. These students would come to our universities when we were in college. They were rich as fuck.
Yeah, and like you said with the illegals, they're not going to spend the amount of money, even if they do. Like, okay, yeah, they're going to go to the grocery store, they're going to buy groceries, pay sales tax, they're going to go to the mall and buy clothes and, stuff to survive and live. But they're not going to spend the type of money these people are going to spend. These people are going to buy mansions. They're going to buy 5 cars, not one Toyota Corolla. They're going to buy 5 luxury cars, and then you get sales tax on that. And they're going to go to the Rolex store. They're going to go to Louis Vuitton. They're going to buy expensive things in large quantities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Attract the people with money, not the people who don't have it and we have to give them the money, right? It's not to say that you shouldn't help people in need. Absolutely. That's a Christian value. I agree. You take care of people who need help, but you don't take care of the only reason they were taking care of these people is because there was an illicit motive behind it, which is let's put them in swing states, get them their citizenships, and then have them vote Democrat. That's not being charitable. That's being deceitful, deceptive. That's cheating the American people. All right. Anyways, but I mean, fantastic idea.
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again. And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
That is something that is crazy to me, that people get taxed on their Social Security benefits. That's nuts. That's fucked.
You waited so long to get those benefits, and then you got to pay taxes.
Yeah. And you paid into the benefits by paying taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, taxing people on Social Security, that's outrageous. That's great that he's taking that away, because I mean, even Social Security, I've seen it myself. It's not a lot. It's not really, I mean, people make it happen, but it's not really enough for people to live on. And so then to tax them on top of what their Social Security benefit is just it's blasphemy. Yeah, Paxter in the chat, my man. We got Paxter, Bauer, We got Naeem. All
Whoop,
these probably
whoop.
sleeping. Yeah, the gentlemen are bullish.
Want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025, and it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country, first term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer.
Reciprocal. If they can charge us,
Much
why
has
wouldn't
been
we charge
said
them?
over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada. But we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and Many very young, beautiful people destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer.
Yeah, but Trudeau saying that he's waging a trade war against Canada, when in reality, he's just implementing the policies that they've been implementing on us for decades. So for him to say that, waging a trade war, all you have to do is take your tariffs off, and then he'll take the tariffs off. So then it's free trade. And eventually, these smaller economies like Canada and Mexico will eventually have to lower their tariffs because they won't be able to compete economically. Their consumers won't be able to pay as much on their 25% tariff as American consumers can pay on our tariffs, right? We could deal with a 25% increase on Canadian maple syrup, right? It's not going to really affect us because we have Aunt Jemima. We'll just use that as instead, So there's different things, and what it really is, it's putting a bet on the American economy to be more manufacturing and for people to create more here, so that you don't have to import stuff from Canada, from Mexico, right? You're going to see more companies start to pop up in different industries that are made overseas. So that's the goal, is to bet on the American people to build quality products and then sell them here.
Yeah, I agree. And not everybody, anybody who doesn't agree with Trump tries to say that tariffs are a terrible idea. Well, number one, billionaire businessman and you. Okay. Whose advice, whose recommendation am I going to take? Your broke ass living in your fucking grandma's basement, your underwear, eating chips on the couch, typing on Twitter how tariffs are going to make inflation go way higher? Should I take your advice, or should I take the billionaire businessman's advice? Probably going to go with Trump, newsflash, okay? So he's not an idiot. There's a reason he's doing it. Because if you give me an incentive, I'll give you an outcome. So if you create the incentive for companies to have to create their products in the United States to therefore avoid the tariffs, the same thing other countries have done to us, and why we've exported all of our manufacturing overseas to India, China, Mexico,
Yep.
the same thing that we had to do, they're going to have to do it back. What happened? Honda's opening a factory, a car manufacturing factory in Indiana. I wonder why. Because there's tariffs now. So will it in the short term increase the prices of goods coming in from those countries? Correct. But then I say, and people use that as the argument against the tariffs. And I'm saying, no, you're not understanding. That's the whole point of the tariff. It's supposed to make it more expensive so they can't be competitive with the American-made product to then bring industry back to our country and give jobs to the people within our country, as opposed to exporting all of our labor to the rest of the world, leaving our middle class and lower class jobless, penniless, broke, poor. But this is what he's trying to do. People aren't thinking that way.
Exactly. That's what every other country in the world does to us. They 100%, like he said, India, 400% more tariffs on our goods over there. You won't see an American product in an Indian grocery store. You'll see some Indian products in American grocery stores, different spices, different, whatever, curry spice, or so that stuff, it'll come here. But like you said, it's incentive to get things built here.
It's supposed to make it more expensive. Correct. Short-term sacrifice for a long-term benefit, right? Delayed gratification.
Same thing with Chinese steel. You're from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steel was top of the line, American steel company founded in Pittsburgh and the Midwest Rust Belt. That was America's bread and butter throughout the 1900s, was steel companies building buildings, getting that steel out, exporting it to other countries. What did China do? China put a tariff on American steel so that they couldn't buy American steel anymore. So what did they do? They started building their own steel. Now where does America get steel from? Not here. They import it from China. So now we need to reverse that, do the tariffs on Chinese steel, and get the steel factories building here, and then it'll be cheaper to build buildings and build anything with steel.
And the last part I'm going to mention too, now that we've completely gutted our manufacturing capabilities and we don't produce anything in the United States, we exported everything. We're now dependent on these nations for supplies. So in COVID, whenever China was had the main breakout first, they were using all their supplies and everything that they needed for their people. The U.S., guess where the U.S. gets our medicine, medications, these sorts of things?
China.
Oh my! So you're telling me China can just decide whether or not we get some type of medical care, medication, supplies, etc.?
So much stuff, and that
Everything.
it's a national security risk because, like you said, they could just cut it off one day, and if America doesn't have the manufacturing to keep up itself and keep up its people, then you're in a pickle. That's a problem.
The U.S. showed it doesn't have the manufacturing capability to help Ukraine in a war. They weren't able to produce all the weapons and all the missiles that they needed, so they had to take things from around the world that they had and send it over to Ukraine as opposed to being able to manufacture and develop those things within the US. We don't have the capability to do so anymore. Our manufacturing is done. That's why in World War II we were so effective and were able to mobilize so quickly and so strongly, is because we were industrialized at that point, and we had the industrial capacity to build the tanks, build the planes, build the weapons, build the ammunition, or create the ammunition. We could manufacture these things, and that's why we were able to overwhelm the opposition. Now, we don't have that. We can't. We don't have it. We either have to get it from somebody else, and if we don't, we're cooked.
I hate the excuse for manufacturing as, oh, it's cheap labor, because it doesn't have to be. With technology, using AI, robot automations to use things, you could hire high-skilled people to understand these technologies and AI and robotics to help manufacture these products. And if you do it correctly in the 21st century way, as opposed to just cheap labor like they used in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, you could hire high quality people and still get the same production of manufacturing. Is there going to be jobs that are tougher and hand skills? Yes, but it still doesn't have to be that way. You could utilize technology, AI, robotics, and get things done in a futuristic way.
Yes. And one last point we'll make, and then we'll get back to the video, is when we were talking about DeepSeek and how it had come out that they were able to develop a similar AI chatbot for much less energy, much less money. And so it was a big blow to NVIDIA and some of these other AI companies, because, oh my God, they were able to do it for so much cheaper, so much less energy, and be just as effective. And what was the point we made? Of course, the companies that don't have unlimited money, unlimited resource, same thing with human beings on an individual basis, somehow they find a way to manage with what they have because they're forced to. There's no other option. Same thing with this. If you're forced to build products, forced to build goods in the US, forced to do industry or business in the US, you're going to find a way to become profitable. You're going to find a way to make it happen with the resources, with the energy that you have, or you're going to develop a new way to be able to do so. If you give yourself the restrictions, you're going to find a way to do it. If you give yourself less time to do the same task than what you normally take, you're going to end up finding a more efficient way to do that task. You just got to give your less time to do it. So.
Yeah, you have to find ways to be innovative, and companies will do that when, the tariffs come on. What's an innovative way to not pay a 25% tariff? Oh, we'll just build a new factory in the United States. Boom. Problem solved.
All right.
Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had...
By the way, let me know whenever you need to start wrapping this up, or we can just keep letting it rip. So.
Yeah, we'll let it rip for now. Probably we'll give it another 15 minutes, see where he's at in the speech.
Cool.
$1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
That's huge. Cheaper electronics, cheaper refrigerators, cheaper TVs, cheaper phones,
And we're not
everything.
giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer. Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great job.
Wow.
Yeah,
40
guy,
foster kids.
hero. That's a hero.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that.
A little
Won't be
bit.
much.
You'll live.
No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by two impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John.
He's helping the people.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all
Point at
the
him.
world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
Send the gang members back to prison.
Send him back. He's about to deliver. Those of
And
you
I wanna
watching, pay
thank
attention.
Tom Homan and Christy, I want to thank you, and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year,
Bruv, Christy Noem's a honey. Just gotta say that. Honey.
a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
So this is when he starts exposing the Democrats, because that right there that's a bipartisan issue. That should be clap. I mean, how could you be against that?
Right. Criminals killing students at University of Georgia. I mean, and then this act will prevent any illegal immigrant who is here permits a petty crime, which is theft or a basic assault, anything that you could get thrown in jail for and released on and the next day, and you're out and about while you're on bond. So now, if you get arrested for something like that, you're gone.
Exactly. Which makes sense, because, Bobby, if you had visitors into your own home and somebody random, but you had no idea who they were, but they got invited in by maybe somebody else that you knew, and they're in your house, right? And you caught them stealing $100 from your wallet. Well, don't you think you'd probably ask that person to leave? Because that's kind of fucking crazy that they would come into your own home, not knowing you not knowing them, and have entered into your own home, and as opposed to showing you respect and thanking you for your hospitality to welcome this person into your home, they decide to steal $100 out of your wallet, and they think that they deserve it. Don't you think you would get them the fuck out of your house? Especially,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good analogy, because that's exactly what it is. You come into the country across illegally, and you start committing crimes in cities. There's no room for that.
Yeah. You're not a citizen of this nation. It'd be one thing if it was your own child, and then you discipline them, you let them know that that's incorrect, you'll never do that again, etc. Okay, different. A complete random person into your home starts stealing from you. Every person's going to say, yo, get the fuck out of my house. Who the fuck are you? Not, this random person who I don't know who they are just stole from me within my own home. Let's just let them live here, honey. We have the kids here. We have our 13-year-old daughter living in the house and our 2-year-old son. Let's just leave them in the house with us. We don't know who the fuck this person is, but let's just leave them in here. No parent in their right mind would ever allow that. And then you see what happens. We allow that to happen within the nation, and they come and they kill one of our children. It was this woman's daughter. That's the bullshit, bruv.
And like you say, it should be a bipartisan issue, but for some reason, again, activists acting out, they don't want to give him any type of prop. So, yeah. But it's like you said, it's exposing them for just, I don't even know why they would do that, why they wouldn't want something like this.
Yeah, it's genuinely one of those things where in no way could you be against this if you truly cared about the nation and the people within this nation and the children of this nation. We passed a bill to put illegal aliens into jail that committed crimes. What? Imagine. What? You're going to put illegal aliens in jail for robbing people? No. What?
Makes no sense.
It's fucking clown world. It is. It's clown world. Tragedy, though. That's so sad. I mean, that's just sad.
Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
Tom Holman, stud. He's barking at him. Get all you motherfuckers.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Banger line. Banger.
That is a good one.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there's still
lies.
is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungary from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
So again, this is one of those things where why wouldn't you show respect for that? That's a good thing. It's not hurting anybody. It's renaming the sanctuary for her daughter who was murdered.
Thank you very much. All 3 savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
You are now eligible for drone strikes. Congratulations.
Yup. About to get fucking cooked. Pompino sending in the drones.
They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy.
Hero. Come on, Roberto. Roberto.
In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them. Roberto saw that his
Cartel
partner was
Island.
totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war in America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns.
What you think? You want to wrap it up, or you want to give it 15 more?
Yeah, well, I think we can wrap it up. I just want to say one point that I was just thinking about there is this is a public speaking masterclass.
Absolutely.
He's no stutters, not one stutter, not one not nothing. Masterclass of public speaking, delivering the points, reading them off the teleprompter, obviously, but still delivering the points of how they're supposed to be delivered and giving it so like the point hits. He's so good at like saying the sentence and then it just hits like the punchline. So a masterclass in public speaking, no stutter and no So if you guys could take anything away from this, take that at the minimum of how well of a public speaker he is and how you guys, we're all working to be better in that aspect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. Objectively, again, you want to be as objective as humanly possible. It was a fantastic speech. We didn't even get to the best parts of it, which is whenever he continues to talk to the young man who got he accepted his application to West Point on the spot, the 13-year-old DJ who they made him an honorary member of the Secret Service, the 13-year-old boy who's been battling brain cancer since he was 6 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
Then there was also, they had the two mothers who had their daughters killed by illegal immigrants. Who else did he talked about? because I want to make sure they get. I mentioned them as well. Those
Border
were the
Patrol, Roberto. They just
Yeah.
mentioned him.
Roberto. Was there anybody else? The gentleman. Oh, the family of the man who was killed in Butler, PA.
Yep,
Whenever they
the
tried to
firefighter. Yep.
again, another one where, at the very least, the man's obviously a hero. Stand up and clap for him. Again, the same thing. The Democrats, nothing, zero. They tried to kill Trump. They missed. The bullet misses. Kills a man who's laying on top of his wife and daughters to try to save their lives. Saves their lives effectively by blocking the bullets. He dies. A hero. A hero. Objectively a hero. Doing what a man's supposed to do. Nothing. Can't even stand, clap for it. It has nothing to do with politics. There's nothing to do with politics. It's just a hero. A shooter tried to kill Trump, ends up killing an innocent man. Well, I mean, obviously Trump being innocent too, but somebody who was just a bystander, shot into the crowd, boom. Their father's gone, dead. No sympathy for the family, no sympathy for the mother, for the daughters who lost their father. A hero. It's not a good look.
Yeah. No, it's not a good look. It's not a political issue like you said. It's a pure attack, violence, a radical ideology of trying to kill the president, no matter who it is terrible. Nobody tried to kill Biden, so it's like, that side is a little more respect, I would say, in that aspect. So yeah, I agree. Show some respect to the families that lost loved ones based off of, I would say, probably for the most part, their
Policies.
speeches, yeah, their policies, their speeches, illegal immigration, and blasting out on the news terrible things about Trump, made some kid take a shot at him and kill innocent bystanders. So, yeah, not a good look on their aspect at all.
Absolutely not a good look at all. So, yeah, have respect for the office. Have respect for the American people who put these people in positions of power. It's a disrespect to the American people, disrespect to the office. Once you start respecting the president, you start disrespecting the Congress and the rules and the things that are in place to help run this country effectively. Everything starts to fall apart. Because once you can't believe in institutions, then all nations fall apart. The only reason nations are able to exist on a long time frame is because the people have to trust the institutions that they hand the power over to. If the people no longer willingly hand power over to the institutions in place because they've abused that power, it's when the nation starts to collapse. So,
Yeah, but other than that, I thought objectively, like we said, just got to look at it from both lenses, depending on what side you're on. And I thought it was a great speech, hit on some great points, nonpartisan issues like the families and everything like that. So it's going to be that was 45 days in of everything they have accomplished. So it's going to be a long 4 years of winning. And hopefully, we get some good news. I hope the economy takes a turn. I know they're working hard on it from what he said. So hopefully we see the economy start to take a turn for the better. I want to see more building. I want to see more industrial, more manufacturing. I know that's a clear goal of theirs. So we'll see what happens there, because that's really where I'm going to hold up the most critiquing at the end of this administration, 4 years, because that's one of the main indicators that I'm going to be giving them the report card on. So hope to see that, but everything else, it's going in the right direction.
I agree. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, appreciate you tuning into the stream. We had double digits live viewers consistently. The gentlemen were on fire today. Fantastic speech from Trump. And if you're not already a part of the network, the organization, the link is in the description, okay? If you're on X right now watching, because we have a bunch of live viewers on X, my link for the Taylor's Code is in the bio. On YouTube, because we have a bunch of live viewers on YouTube, the link for the Taylor's Code is in the description of the video, okay? If you're not already a part of the university, the network, the team that we're building, I encourage you to take a look into joining a network of competent individuals that are actually building and growing in our lives. Until you start surrounding yourself with winners, with people who want to actually improve themselves on a day-to-day basis and hold themselves accountable to it, you're not going to experience that for yourself. So I encourage you guys to join. We already have the private Discord was launched at the beginning of March. So we have a private Discord server. We have a network of individuals in there that we've built that are going to be able to help you, like Bobby, make money through building e-commerce and building e-commerce businesses. Myself with crypto, investing, making money in the stock market, any types of investments. Logan's in there with the fitness campus, right? Showing you how to optimize your health with supplementation, exercise, running, weightlifting, weight training, everything that you can imagine from a fitness standpoint is inside of there. Logan's teaching it. So we're developing people in all realms, right? It's the university network for the ultimate professional. Not just about making money, but can you make money? Will we make money? Yeah. Not just about fitness, but will you get fit? Will you get ripped? Will you be healthier? Yeah. So that's the idea of it. So, and the one last thing I'll mention, I'll kick it over to Bobby, is today, because officially we launched the private Discord for March. For just this month only, you're going to use promo code T as in Tommy, T as in Taylor, and C as in code. Because it's a Taylor's code. The promo code's TC444. You're going to get $40 off your first month. So if you just enter the private Discord with the professional plan, it's $10. It's $10. You spend more than that at McDonald's, Bumbleclat. So how about you put it in somewhere where it's going to help you make more money, develop yourself, better your life. I can assure you that $10 is going to go a lot further within a network like that as opposed to at the McDonald's fucking drive-thru. Okay?
Yeah, and to wrap it up on my end, I second everything Priamo said. It is the ultimate professional is kind of the slogan we're going for. We want to build a network of ultimate professionals. So that's why we jump on here and we do calls like this every Wednesday. It's to catch up on current events. Not only are we going to teach you the skills that Priamo talked about from crypto and e-com and your fitness journey of becoming the best fit man you could be, but it's also understanding the world around you and having the knowledge of what's going on around you to make decisions that's going to make you a better person. And also just for conversation, you don't want to go to a party or go to out to dinner and there's some high class individuals there and they start talking about some political things going on and tariffs and this stuff and you don't know what's going on in the world. You're going to seem like you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. So that's why we also like to come on here and talk a little bit about politics and talk a little bit about current events going on in the world so that you guys are up to date on this stuff and have a better understanding of what you need to learn in order to make yourself the ultimate professional. Right. So if you go out to dinner and people are talking about things you don't understand, well, that's why we're here trying to bridge the gap and talking about things that are important, talking about things that are going to make you a better person. And also, like we said, Trump had a master class in public speaking. It's learning all different realms. It's all the ultimate professional. That's the goal for everyone. So I highly encourage you guys to check out the link, like Prama said in the descriptions, no matter where you're watching this at, we have links somewhere, and to get in for $10 this month. It's cheaper than a McDonald's meal. Get in, see what the community is all about, dive into a campus, learn something new, learn a skill. And I guarantee you that $10 you spend will come back to you in 1 month at least.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to make that back instantly. Instantly. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, hey, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that you're watching on, because we're on all platforms, baby. We're fucking everywhere. Do what you got to do. And we'll see you guys on my channel tomorrow for the Ultimate Market Professionals. We're going to go over crypto, do crypto analysis. And then on Saturday, university meeting. And then I know Bobby, you got your Sunday conversation.
Sunday morning, 10 a.m.
Yep, on Bobby's channel. So Bobby's channel is going to be Robert. No, yeah. Is it Robert Nishman?
No, it's Bobby Nishman.
Okay. Yeah, Bobby Nishman.
On all platforms.
Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Producer. Let me do a little fucking... Boom.